realm. So, with no further ado, Minister, what is the word of today?
Well, the word of the day for today is destiny.
Destiny.
We're going to talk a little bit about destiny.
Am I reaching your destiny?
Yeah, reaching your destiny. What is destiny? Being a part of your destiny.
All right, destiny. All right, brother.
Yeah, it's a lot in destiny. So we'll start from the beginning. Get just some background and definitions on destiny. Destiny is thought of as the things that someone will experience in the future. It is a power or considered a hidden power that is believed to control what happens in the future. It can be considered the predetermined or inevitable course of events. Destiny is thought or is considered to also be what is meant to be. Some people talk about destiny and consider it fortune, fate. It can be considered predestination. Others, it is a divine decree. It is the will of the Most High. Some consider it karma, your lot or your portion. But destiny, it has two sides of destiny, if you want to look at it. And you can have a positive side of destiny and a negative side of destiny. For example, if you're born, for example, into a wealthy family, your destiny is normally to be wealthy.
Yeah.
Or if you're born into a family, a musical family, then you're kind of destined to be one that's musically inclined.
That's it.
But then the other side of that is if you were born into poverty and crime, generally your destiny is to lead to being more poverty and crime.
Yes, sir.
But I would like to put out there when we talk about destiny, even though it can be considered preordained, you can actually work on changing, or you can not change, or rather you can create your own destiny. Like we as individuals and as a people specifically should want to take control and determine our own destinies. And this can be done by the way that we live our lives and the things that we do. So if you're destined for success, you want to stay on that journey.
That's right.
But if you're destined for failure, then what you want to do is change.
Take a detour.
Thank you. Take a detour. Get off that road and get on the road that leads to the highway of success.
There you go.
So your destiny can change because it is predetermined, but it's predetermined based on your steps.
That's it. That's it. You know, you said some things. I had to make note of it because you say hidden power believed to, and I think you said withhold what happens in the future, something like that. Okay.
Yes.
And then the will of the Most High. I think that's very powerful because it's some things like, for instance, on my Instagram, shout out to my Instagram, Jeremiah Yisrael. Follow me on Instagram. But on my Instagram page, I talk about different ways of attaining, your purpose in life, because that's within my book. And I talk about steps in defining that purpose. And of course, we talk about the name, my name's being a part of that because it defines who you are and it gives you a purpose in life. But when you're talking about like destiny, like you can create that, I talk about steps. You have to write down steps in order to accomplish that, because a lot of times life can present a lot of things to you, distractions and things of that nature.
Yes.
And if you don't have a map, I say like a road map, to define where you're going, then you can easily get distracted and be detoured off to another destiny.
Yes.
And see, that's what's been our issue. But one of the things, I want to kind of share a definition as well.
Okay.
Like in destiny, it's a invincible necessity.
Wow.
Then say fate, a necessity of fixed order of things established by divine decree.
Yes.
Or by an indissoluble connection of cause and effect. That's what you was talking about. Like if you're in a situation, now you can be in one of those situations,
Yes.
like coming, in the inner city and going through some of the poverty and crime. but you can choose to do some things that could change your outcome. Or you can choose to kind of go with the flow of things. And then the outcome of that is considered your destiny, but that's the negative part, what you're talking about. There's a negative and a positive side of that. And I think we can create that when we take control of our destiny. And that's a part of taking control of your destiny, when you can define that. And I think that's very powerful, what you said. And then another synonym to that is faith. And we're talking about fate as far as F-A-T-E, not faith, but fate. And one of the definitions, I'm gonna share this here real quick, and then I'll open it back up for a little dialogue on that. But faith refers to the inevitability of a course of events as supposedly determined by a God, we talked about that, or other agents beyond human control.
Yes.
Now we know spiritually, we put that in context of, what the scripture talks about. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, those in wicked. Well, what did it say? Against spiritual wickedness
in high
places. So we know that we're dealing with a lot when it comes to us as a people, as saints. I'm gonna say saints.
Yes.
Because see, there's a group of people that's in high places that try to create a certain destiny for those that are beneath them.
Yes.
And see, they think they have that power to do so. But see, we have a great and mighty God that have set the order for our lives that we need to be very mindful and conscious of, so that we stay on the right path and don't get off that path. But there are spiritual wicked ones that are in place that are seeking to create some type of destiny that allows for you to fall into that trap.
Right. And
we don't want to get caught up in that trap of, going down that wrong path. We talk about the broad, path to destruction and that narrow path. We don't want to get caught up on that.
Right.
So we really want to make sure that we're on that path, understanding our destiny, so that we stay on track. And a lot of us don't understand that, so we get off track. So we lose our focus and our destiny.
No, and I agree. You hit the nail on the head with the hammer, because if you want to relate it to the Most High, He has a divine order or divine laws. Or if you want to be spiritual and you say there's universal principles in the universe, that where what goes around comes around. When you put out a positive, you get a positive back. But when you put negative, you put negative back. That is the way the most. So there are things that are predetermined through fate. But if you're doing the right things, you're going to get the right outcome. But when you do those negative things, and that's what's unfortunate, a lot of people think, especially when we talk about spiritual wickedness in high places, they'll put a group of people, specifically people of color, and say you're destined to this outcome. And if you follow what has been predetermined for you, yes, that is your fate.
Right.
But if you connect yourself with the Most High, or you get universal and take that detour that you're talking about and follow those divine principles, then your fate changes totally. And then those the spiritual wickedness in high places can't touch you. But it's up to you to truly determine your destiny, because your destiny is laid out, but it's the choice of which road you take, where that destiny takes you.
And you said that so beautifully, when it comes to defining that purpose and knowing, trying to create that destiny for yourself. You said it so well that I can't even add too much to that. But to say that when we're seeking like the order of life, to your point, we have to be engaged with those principles of life. And those principles come through that's the spiritual nature. Like a lot of times, we have the Holy Scriptures, and and some of us, we order our life around the Holy Scriptures. I know we do. And whether you're Buddhist or whatever you are, there's a certain principle that you have that you order your life around. And then there's an innate part of us that the Most High speaks to. And that's an order of our life as well. Because I think sometimes we get stagnant and maybe it was something we may have read, or maybe something we have heard. But see, when you believe in the Most High, you know that He's a living God.
Right.
That means He's constant. That means He's always ordering your life. So you have to
you don't see
that force that you don't see, and that order of life is very important outside of just the things that you may see as far as what's been said or what's been told or what you read. There is an innate part of that moves us spiritually that we have to stay in tune with. And that comes from myself, meditation, staying in one with yourself, yes, and making sure that you're listening to that voice. So I think that's a very powerful word. We probably can continue on with that word.
On destiny.
On destiny. But I'm pretty sure that our guest today can tell us all about destiny and becoming who he is today. But we're going to get right into that. When we come right back, we're going to go to a short commercial break, and we'll be back and we'll introduce our guest to you. We'll be right back.